Hello, everybody. My name is Sherry Sutton, and I am your marketing mentor. Hey, so it's been a little bit of a crazy day here. Thank God for hats and just like a blazer. And then we're just going to go. We're going to go with it. We've got strep in the house. We've got COVID in the house. Everybody else is in the same exact boat. So I hope you are all healthy and happy. Today's live, we're going to talk about social media and whether or not it's right for your business. So I've joked about this, but they're going to kick me out of like the Cool Kids Marketing Coach Club for saying this. But social media might not be the right thing for your business. And that's why it's really important for you to put together a full marketing strategy where you really understand, here's my target audience, here's what they need, here's what they're struggling with, here are some of their key messages, and here's where they go for information. Because not everyone goes to social media for information. A lot of people do. And I'm not saying that social media doesn't have its place, but many people don't go to social media as their first spot to try to find information on things. So you want to be really careful about where and how you use social media if you use it in your marketing. So I want to give you an example of a couple of examples of companies that maybe social media isn't the right thing for them to do. Now, I'm going to caveat this. If you have millions of dollars and a staff and plenty of time, by all means, do all the things, right? But most of us are solopreneurs, right? It's only us. We're moms, right? We're also trying to pick up our kids at 3:00, all of those types of things. So we need to be really cautious with our time, very strategic and very targeted to make sure that we're driving the most people at the best times, right? So here's some good examples of when social media might not be the first thing that a company goes to. Let's think about a oral surgeon. All right. So an oral surgeon is somebody you go to, and I don't know if this is right, but just stick with me for a second. So an oral surgeon is someone who, I'm getting messages. Hi, people. Hi, everybody. So an oral surgeon is someone that you go to when you need to get, right? You've gone to a regular dentist, something's wrong, you need to go to a specialist. Quite often, you're not going to go online and look for an oral surgeon on social media, right? You're not going to like hashtag oral surgeon. Who are you going to ask to help you get that? Well, you're going to ask your dentist, right? Hey, do you know a great oral surgeon that I should go to? So in that case, it makes more sense if the oral surgeon is a solopreneur like many of us to focus all their marketing efforts on getting those referrals as opposed to being on social media, because the place that their customers come from is not from searching for someone on Google or on social media, but it's from coming from referrals. So what you want to do is make sure that you are always engaging with the people who might be recommending you. And there's all sorts of ways that you can market just to them in a very targeted kind of way that's outside of social media. So that's a great example. Let's think of another example. Another example might be a car mechanic. So if you're looking for a car mechanic, what's the first thing you're going to do, right? And this is what you should do with your marketing as well. So, okay, if I'm my target audience, where do I go to look for information? And a lot of times it's, I ask friends, right? Referrals are a huge source of this. Or I might do a Google search, right? If I'm looking for a mechanic, I'm going to probably put something on one of the local Facebook boards. So that is social media, but it's not posting on social media. So I'm going to put something on one of the local Facebook boards, and I'm also going to Google, right? I'm going to Google somebody, I'm going to look for Google reviews and so forth. So in that case, let's say this mechanic spent no time putting together a Google profile. They don't do any engagement with people in Facebook groups. And they spend all their time making like the most beautiful, lots of reels, social media profile out there, right? They have a great Instagram feed, but I'm never going to find them because I don't go to Instagram to look for a mechanic. I'm going to ask, I'm going to Google first. So the better thing for that person to have done, the mechanic, is to say, okay, where do people look for me? Well, they look for me on Google. Let me make sure that I do everything I need to do to be seen on Google. I get good reviews. My website is optimized for Google. I'm in Google My Business, all those things. And then let me also make sure that I'm active in some local groups, maybe some local mom groups, those types of things, so that I'm top of mind when people ask in one of those groups online. So you're still engaging in social media, but maybe you're not spending all your time actually posting on social media. So those are two really good examples of where social media might not work for your business. For many of us who are service-based entrepreneurs, like I am, and a lot of people who are watching this today, what we want to do is have a combination of, I like to say, 3 marketing activities that we do on an ongoing basis. Now, for most of us, if we're not in sort of the categories of either a specialist or someone who generally you look for only on Google, we want to be on social media, because what happens is people hear about us or they get referred to us. They go to our social media first to make sure we're real, right? They go check out our website. They do a little bit of stalking. I know I do that for all my vendors. I'm sure you guys do as well. And so we want to go online. We want to kind of stalk our people. We want to make sure that they're real. That's a place where social media is incredibly important, is in creating those networks and also having a place where people can continue to engage with you. They know you're real. And then after they've actually worked with you, that's a great place to continue to stay in touch with them. So let's talk about the mechanic example. So in the mechanic example, so now they've found me on Google, they've come into my shop, I fixed their stuff, and then I invite them to follow me on Instagram. And then on Instagram, my strategy for Instagram is to have it be for ongoing customers who have already come to my shop, but I want to upsell them on other products. So what you might do in that case is all the content that you're putting on your social media is designed specifically for people who know they need to be doing ongoing maintenance on their cars, let's say. So it could be, when do I need to get an oil change? How do I know if I need new tires? A lot of those types of questions, those are great opportunities for you to post on social media for them. But you want to be very clear with your social media exactly who you're talking to, and if they're even looking for you there, or if you should be spending your marketing efforts elsewhere. So get 3 things that you do on a regular basis that's going to drive business to you. And there's lots of different options. And I'm going to show you, if you're on Instagram, you're not going to be able to see this. Send me a direct message and I'll send you a note on it. But if you're joining me from any of the other platforms, you'll be able to see this. I'm going to share with you my screen. Give me a second. Okay. This is what's called the marketing funnel. And for those of you who can't see it, it's an inverted triangle. And the idea is at the top, there's lots of people who are going to have awareness of you, fewer people who are going to consider buying from you, and even less are going to make a decision to purchase from you. So as you the goal is to have people coming into your funnel on a regular basis, so that have awareness of you, and then you continue to talk to them through a variety of different marketing mechanisms to drive them to a decision. And that those marketing mechanisms shouldn't only be social media. It can be one of the 3 things that you do on a regular basis, but it shouldn't be the only one. Again, if you've got millions of dollars and can have a whole team, by all means, do all of these things. But for many of us, we have to choose and be very strategic about the few things that we're going to choose to do. So Let me give you some examples of things you can do that are what's called top of funnel, that are things that are awareness focused. And just one note, the way that I use funnel is a little bit different than a lot of other coaches do. I use sort of the traditional definition of it when it comes to sort of the traditional marketing books. It's not just about offer one product, try to, give them some additional marketing messages to get them to decide to buy. That is a small version of this funnel, but when we talk about our overall business marketing funnel, it's much larger than that. So when you start bringing people into your awareness, right? They go into the funnel, they're just gaining awareness of you. There's a couple of different things you can do. The first thing is public relations, right? Get written up in magazines. Search engine optimization is key here with content marketing, blogs. Those are really important. Again, going back to the mechanic example, they want to really make sure that they are well optimized for search engine optimization on Google. Networking is great here. It's an incredibly important part of what I do for my business is networking. And a lot of it's online now, right? So you don't have to sort of go out. If you're a little bit more introverted, it's something you can, do at home where you're a little bit more comfortable. There's directory listings that what can be included in that is Google My Business. There are also other like local directories that you can be a part of. Let's say, for example, that dentist, right? They may have a list of people, of oral surgeons that they refer. Well, you want to make sure that you're on that list. Sometimes they'll charge you for it. I was in the wedding industry for a long time, and as a photographer, some of the venues would have a recommended vendor list, and you would have to pay to get onto that list. But that's a great thing, because as new brides would come, the first thing they do is get their venue. Once they have their venue, they get this list, and that is your referrals. And because I was on that directory listing, I was one of the first people to get called without doing any social media or anything like that. So those sometimes, depending on the business, those directory listings are real important. And then there's obviously social media is a good place here, because people do search using hashtags. So I'm sorry, Instagram has become the second largest search engine after Google, YouTube. So it's becoming an incredibly important part of what Instagram has to offer us, in particular for social media. But it's not always as big as Google or YouTube, who are owned by each other. So they're kind of together. And the other way we can bring people into awareness is by doing advertising, right? And some of those can be on social media, but they can also be on Google. There's lots of other places where we can do ads as well. So what I tend to recommend is to pick one or two pieces in this awareness. You're going to have to do lots of activities to get the people in to start knowing who you are. Then what you want to do is collect their names somehow, whether it's through email marketing or invite them to your group, where now you're going to have their information so that you can continue to nurture that relationship when they're in this consideration phase of working with you. And that's where you can do things like email marketing. You can, somebody's calling me, spammers. You can do something like email marketing. This is where you can do free webinars. Like, this is actually something I do for people who are a little bit more consideration. You're not going to sit here and watch a 20-minute video with me unless you know who I am, and you know that I have something that's decent to say, right? This is a great place to do your landing pages, your lead magnets, what we were talking about earlier as your small funnels, right? Your single product freebie funnels, where you're offering a freebie, following up on some emails to try to get them to do something else with you. Webinars, your website, Facebook groups are a great thing here. Remarketing, retargeting ads are also a great thing in this consideration phase. And I recommend that you choose at least one thing here that you're going to do and do really, really well. Especially email, I believe, is one of the most important things that you can do here, if you can only choose one. I actually have about two that I do in awareness, 2 that I do under consideration. And then and when I get to decision, I've got about 2 that I do there as well, which is email marketing as well as client consults. So social media has its place, but it's not the only thing you should be doing to drive your business. If it's the only thing that you're doing, then it might not be working, right? Because your audience might not be the types of people who look for things on social media. So you want to make sure that one, your audience is going to social media to look for businesses like yours before you start really spending your time on social media. And if they're not, find something else to do. And there's a lot of options that I'm showing on the screen right now. Again, if you're on Instagram, I'm happy to send this to you later. If you know that clients do go to social media to look for you, by all means, make sure that you're killing it on social media, but make sure that that's not the only thing that you're doing. Okay. So you want to make sure that you've got multiple things that you're doing, because all social media changes, right? It's constantly changing all the time. There's always new innovations, some good for your business, sometimes not. And we saw what happened a few months ago when Instagram and Facebook just completely went down for a day. There were people out there who were like, oh my God, my whole business is built on this. You want to make sure that you have other things that you're doing that aren't only social media, because you just don't know how the algorithm is going to change. I'm going to leave you with one quick example. So I was mentioned earlier, I was in the wedding industry for a long time. I was a wedding photographer, and my main source of driving people was my Facebook page. So I would post pictures after the wedding. And at the time, you were able to tag people in the pictures without being friends with them, without them having followed your business page. It was super easy to do. And that's how I got a lot of my buzz, right? A lot of people knew about me because they saw their friends tagged in my pictures and so forth. And I was doing other things. We'll talk about that in a sec. So overnight, all of that went away because Facebook changed their algorithm. When they changed their algorithm, you were no longer allowed to tag people from a business page. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. So you weren't able to, there we go. You weren't able to tag people from a business page anymore. So overnight, I lost my ability to tag all those people, which was how I was getting all of my buzz in the past. So thank goodness I knew this methodology of making sure I have multiple things that I'm doing at every stage of the funnel. And I had other things that I was doing. I was networking. I was going to trade shows, a lot of bridal shows. This was obviously before COVID. And so I was able to do that. And because of that, I was still able to get my business going, even though the algorithm on social media changed to the detriment of my business. And then I found ways to kind of change the way I did social media to compensate for that. But there was a couple weeks of like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting any business, which was right in the middle of wedding season. I had all these great photographs to share. And so it's a good lesson in don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And I know that's hard when you're a solopreneur because there's so much to do. I get it. I live that life right along with you, but you want to make sure that you have multiple things that you're doing on all the different of the funnel. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I loved being here with you today. If you have any questions, please send me an email. My email address is sherry@sherrysutton.com. Or of course, you can direct message me on any of the platforms that you are watching this on. You can also head over to my website, sherrysutton.com. Also, I want to tell you about a really exciting program. I'm taking applications now. It's called the Marketing Made Simple program. And it's designed for solopreneurs who know they need to do marketing, but just don't know where to start. So what we do is we have a VIP day. You spend a day with me. Sometimes we break it up into 2 days, but you spend a full day with me. We put together a full written marketing plan for you. And then after that, you have 90 days of support between one-on-ones with me. I can be available to you via email all the time. We have group coaching. There's lots of different options on how you can continue continue to be supported for the next 90 days. So I'd love to have you in that program. Head over to my website to hear the details or read about the details. And if you have any questions, reach out. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.